Hello everybody, my name is Jacob Sauls, and today we'll be discussing coaching under the Catholic Social Teaching Principles. Now first off, what are the CST principles? Well, there are 7 of these principles. Some of them include the life and dignity of the human person, call to family, community, and participation, rights and responsibilities, and care for God's creation. Now, the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops says that a rich treasure of wisdom is within these social principles. It is about building a just society and living lives of holiness amidst the challenges of modern society. Now, these Catholic social teaching principles have various applications in everyday life. For example, in your school or maybe in your workplace, and even in your athletic programs. Now, this is specifically towards coaching. Many coaching practices and habits actually relate to and resemble different types of Catholic social teaching principles. And so today we'll go through the applications and implications in coaching that represent Catholic social teaching principles. The first principle we will talk about is the life and dignity of the human person. Now, the life and dignity of the human person principle is mostly about Catholics coming together as one family and opposing principles that go against human life or deteriorate human life, or even endanger humans. Now, to show this team effect, coaches create a family-like environment, a family-type love within the team, so that they fight for one another against this opposing team that they are going against. So this teamwork that the coaches instill into their players creates one entity against the other team in order to win, or to relate back to the Catholic social teaching principle to go against those that deteriorate human life. The next principle I'd like to talk about is the dignity of work and the rights of workers. So this basically it sees that workers and people in general are shown respect and are cared for and aren't overworked or aren't treated as slaves, basically. There are a lot of different applications to this in coaching. One of them is you see coaches give rest days on Sabbath. So on Sundays, usually you won't have practice. That's how a lot of coaches instill their practice schedules. But also it's the coach's responsibility to push their players hard, but understand the well-being of the players is at the forefront. So to make sure that they're not pushing them too hard or aren't endangering their health. These are just a couple of different ways coaches implement this principle into their practices. The next principle I'd like to talk about is the call to family, community, and participation. Now, it's important to realize that this emphasizes the idea that family is the centerpiece of humanity. And this is a very strong thing that you see throughout Catholic teachings, is that family is everything. And this is a very important coaching practice as well, because you have to create this family type environment, this family type love within the team, like we talked about before. And it's important to realize that a team's performance can influence the community, that a team's actions can influence a community, whether it's going out and doing community service or winning an important district match for your city. That kind of bringing together can influence a community and can create a positive impact. So it's important coaches realize that they have that power in the team and that the team realizes that they have that power. And so that's an important coaching habit. The next principle I'd like to talk about is the rights and responsibilities principle. This is really just about being a good, caring human, that you have the right to get help, and it's your responsibility to help others. You see this a lot through coaching, whether it's community service, coaches going out and applying their players to do community service, or by charitable events or fundraisers for other types of things in the community. Not only that, but sportsmanship on the field. It is your responsibility to be a good sportsman, whether it's within your team to another player or to the opposite team. After you beat a team, go up, shake hands, say good game, and just don't be disrespectful. That's very important. And it's important to realize the impact this can have on players. The next principle I'd like to talk about is solidarity. Solidarity is basically being there for each other, being there for everyone. Everyone is your brother, everyone is your sister. You can go to anyone for help, and it's your obligation to go and help somebody. I actually wrote a reflection over this, but it's teammates being there for one another. It is, if someone's having a bad day, you go and pick them back up and tell them it'll be okay. Coaches implement this by putting team captains in. Captains are a very important and influential part of a team. It is a captain's duty that if someone is doing poorly, or if they are feeling bad, having a bad day, or just in a bad place in general, to go there and be there for them, or find someone that can be there for them if they cannot. And that's a critical part in a team, is having a good team captain that can be there for the team. And not only that, but and the team in general can be there for one another if someone's having a bad day. It's the importance of solidarity that really brings a team together and creates this brotherhood, this sisterhood that you feel is support. Option for the poor and vulnerable is also an important principle that coaches instill in their players. A very important rule that you hear a lot is a team is no better than their worst player. So it is a responsibility for the team to pick up those that maybe aren't doing so well. And so you must go out there and, ask if they want to stay after practice, or ask if they want to come before practice, or if they're doing something wrong, maybe show them the right way to do something, and try to not discourage them, but encourage them to do better. And that goes back to the team captain thing. Not only that, but you have to guide them. So when they're doing good, make sure to keep instilling that. Tell them good job. Tell them that you've seen their improvement. Keep being there for those that might not do as well. Coach, and again, this relates back to coaches implementing captains. The last principle that we're going to talk about today is the care for God's creation. This is a little tricky because caring for God's creation is mostly about the environment, being environmentally friendly, recycling, that it's Catholic's responsibility to do these types of things. And obviously caring for one another because we are all God's creation. So coaches implement this by keeping fields and courts well kept, their training facilities and things like that, making sure that they're nice and ready for the players. And it's also coaches implementing type of respects for their equipment. So players must respect the equipment, and I think that's a lot of things that coaches implement into their programs. And just treating each person with respect, which is something that's been instilled throughout all of these principles. You must treat every person with respect because we're all God's creation. So finally, coaching is heavily influenced by the CST principles, whether it is seeing that they rest on Sabbath, or that they go out and do community service, and that they're there for one another, creating a brotherhood. There are many different implements in Catholic social teaching principles. And so coaching is a big takeaway for this. And these are my works cited, and thank you guys.